Hello, my name is Michael Smith, and this is my life. Today it is Friday, June the 16th of 2017. Yesterday was oh gosh, it was just another day in a succession of days where you just ran around. I'm still not completely back on my old schedule from having the baby, and I'm beginning to wonder if that's ever gonna if I'm ever going to get back to my good old schedule for the good old days. I've been doing a lot of running around. The last couple days, I've been running out to my parents' house because two of my little ones, my Pearl girl, who is going to be 4 here pretty soon, and Walter, my 8-year-old, they spent the night at my parents' house. So one day I took them out there. The next day after work, I picked them up. Yesterday I got off work and I came home, and I was like, yes, I can actually get into my schedule. And then I realized that it was Thursday, and at my I'm Catholic, whatever. But I take my faith very seriously. And I realized it was Thursday, and on Thursday nights we have Mass. And everything that I've been studying over the last few years has always said, if you ever have the opportunity to go to daily Mass, above, in and above, your weekly Sunday Mass, do it. It's always good to go and get that grace. I'm not going to go into a big theology thing about grace and the sacraments and all that. But I was like, you know what? This is something I said I wanted to do. And so I realized that Mass was at 5:30, which meant I had to leave at 5. And basically, I get home around 4. So I had basically just enough time to check in with my wife and then come down here into my studio and do work on a little project. All these videos that I put up on YouTube, I catalog and I put them on DVD for, so that my family and later generations can watch them at any time if something ever happens to YouTube or whatever, And it really doesn't take any time at all. It's just a matter of dragging and dropping files from one monitor to another, and so that you can view them, and there's not a lot of heavy editing involved. It takes time. But so I went to Mass, and I also so I get to Mass, and I'm like, okay, I got there a little bit early, which is what I wanted to do. Is like, I'm gonna try to get a rosary in. If you're not Catholic, the rosary, what you do with the rosary is it is a series of prayers that is said over and over again. A lot of people don't get it. I know when I first encountered the rosary, because I was raised Protestant, I didn't get it. But what you're doing during those prayers is you're focusing on various mysteries, series of mysteries, or various scenes from the gospel. So yesterday, it was, I can't remember what set of mysteries it was, but it was the one that included like the baptism, the wedding at Canaan, and there's others. So basically, you focus on that scene, and you're like, you kind of put yourself in that scene. And then for me, I go deeper, and so like at the baptism, I'm like, okay, how have I been like, or how could I be like Jesus, or how have I not been like Jesus? How could I, be like John the Baptist? How haven't I? The Holy Spirit came down on Jesus in that scene. How's my relationship with the Holy Spirit? The water, the air, nature, everything. I just completely immerse myself and meditate on that moment in Jesus's life. And what's really cool is two things. For me, I get a greater understanding for the gospel, because I'm focusing on one scene. and just really trying to get the most out of it. And it's amazing. Like, you can go through the mysteries over and over and over again, and sometimes it's not like, oh, yeah, here we go, around the turn again. New things pop out at you. Or at least it does for me. But also what's cool is you can, like Protestants often say, offer it up. With the rosaries, with a rosary, you can offer it up for anything, for any intention. Like, Dear Mother Mary, please intercede for me, and go to your Son on my behalf for this person or group of people or whatever. And I've recently been praying for. I helped on a Cursillo weekend, so I'm continuing to pray for them, for Cursillo 1114, and also for 1107, the men's Cursillo and the women's Cursillo, the most recent of those in my town. Just because, well, I'm not even going to go into that. I could spend a half hour on that alone. But yeah, so I was getting ready to do the rosary, and Father comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, I need you to sign a letter." And there was a gift we were giving at our parish, and we were enclosing a letter, I guess. And I just figured, it was like kind of like a birthday card. Like, hey, you want to sign Joe Schmo's birthday card? And so I went in there, and then it dawned on me when I sat down to sign the letter. It dawned on me that they needed me to sign the letter because I'm parish council president, and it's one of those things where, like, I don't know, it was like, oh wow, this is real. I'm really the parish council president. Which it's not. I don't know. It's not. It's a responsibility, but it's not huge. But it became one step closer to real last night, because it's like, oh, this isn't just a bunch of people's names. This is just my name and Father's name. Wow. Okay, so this is kind of important and official. It's not something really that I wanted to do, but no one else wanted to do it, and I love Jesus and I love my parish, and so when there was a need and I was asked to step up, I did it. And I would encourage you, as you go through your life, there will be times where you'll be faced with things that you don't want to do. You're like, no, I don't want to volunteer for this. But I would suggest that you do it, because it's a beautiful, great opportunity to volunteer. It allows you to open your heart and not just learn and grow for yourself, but to help others. And for me as a Christian and as a Catholic, volunteering and doing good works is an opportunity for me to take the love that Jesus has given me and redirect it back out in the world so that it can multiply. And that's kind of how I see that. But so I got home from Mass, and I had to eat dinner by myself because while I was gone, my family had to eat because Mass was right at dinner time. And then I got back, and the kids were wound up. And I'm really glad that I got to go to Mass, because for me, oh my gosh, eye booger. Bleh. Oh gosh, it's disgusting. But anyway, Mass for me, and I didn't even get through the Rosary, but I got through a little bit of it. And Mass, then I celebrated Mass, and I really focused, because I was by myself, I got to focus on worshiping and praying the Mass, and getting close and having a oneness with Jesus Christ during that experience. I came home, ate dinner, and then I gave the little ones. I have my little Zachy, he's going to be 2 soon, and Pearl, she's going to be 4. And Theodore normally takes a shower by himself, but because it's been so crazy lately, I was like, you know what, why don't you just jump in here real quick, and I'll get you clean real quick, and then you can get back to your cartoons. But the kids were wound up. My wife runs a daycare during the daytime, and so yesterday there was an orthodontist appointment for my oldest stepson, Kane, who's 15, and and so she didn't get a chance to let him run around. We have a really nice big backyard with playground equipment and stuff. And so they didn't get to run around outside yesterday and play. They were kind of cooped up in a van, and they did some moving around, but they really didn't get any exercise. So the kids were wound up. They were ready to go. Plus, because the orthodontist appointment was so close to noon, she had to go through the dreaded McDonald's for lunch. And so that meant that some of the children got soda. Yeah, and that's an experiment I don't really recommend. So they were all like, la, 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 yesterday evening, and I was like, and so I asked her, I was like, did they go out in the backyard? She's like, no, we were too busy. I was like, okay. She's like, they had soda too. I was like, oh, okay. And so it was really great that I got to go to church, and I got to pray and worship, because that calmed me down. So when I was dealing with the crazy kids, I wasn't like, what is wrong with you people? I find my faith very calming, and it helps me stay centered, so that I can focus on my family. And they're just so amazing. They're so beautiful. And work again was really hard for me. I was wore out. So I was wore out and calmed down at the same time, and they were wound up. And so it was a nice yin-yang balance. We watched the last little bit of Kung Fu Panda, and then I went to bed with the kids. The kids have a bedtime at 8 o'clock. I sacked out with them. My wife had a couple of late kids, so she stayed up with them and the baby anyway. And I went to sleep, and it was like 3 o'clock this morning. Oh my goodness, 3 o'clock this morning. My little Zachy comes in, and he lays in bed. I'm like, okay. And normally if he'll come in there and he'll just lay still. And this morning he kept wiggling. I was like, honey, you need to lay still. And he wouldn't lay still. So finally I took him back to his own bed. And, I love cuddling with my little ones, because they get bigger, and then they go on and they start wanting to do their own thing. And you don't get to cuddle them and love them as much. You still get to love them, but you don't get to love them like you used to. And so that I try to treasure those moments, even though I wanted to sleep and everything. I was like, you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it to cuddle with my kids and love them and hold them and let them know everything's going to be okay. And they can't sleep. They wake up early in the morning or whatever, or late at night. And it was just it was a really great day, and we're getting ready to ramp up. It's Friday, the weekend. We've got a family reunion coming up this weekend. It's also baptism weekend for Joseph, who he was born back on the 30th. So, wow, it's too early for me to do math, and I haven't had my coffee yet. But yeah, he's only a couple weeks old. So it's going to be a lot of getting the house ready. I mean, my wife keeps a really clean house, but she wants it really clean when guests are coming over. So we'll be working on the house, and for me that just means time out once again, and focusing on what my wife needs help with, and instead of pursuing whatever project that I have for any given moment, I focus on her goals, so she feels comfortable when she has guests come over. So I don't know. Remember, love God, love your family, take time out, sacrifice, yeah. And first, last, and always pray. And that's all I gotta say about that.